Big things come in small packages. But the metal world doesn't care about small packages. They want big, thick, weighty albums. You nasty. That's why I'm shining a light on the stellar yet smaller releases of the year 2020. And here we go. Greetings, hard and heavy music fans. I'm Dante, you're watching the Heavy Haystack, and today I'm talking about my top 15 EPs of the year 2020. EPs, or extended plays, seem to have become the norm in today's overcrowded, streaming-focused, attention-deficit music world. Modern pop and hip-hop have long been ahead of the curve on this business practice, but metal and hard rock have mostly been stuck in its ways of being album-focused, with EPs mostly being reserved for new and fledgling artists trying to get their name out there. But we've slowly been learning with EPs becoming a more common practice for established artists. Whether it be a less intensive way to put out music for a side project, a holdover record to hold fans over in between albums, or an effective way to experiment with a different sound or a covers record, without the higher risk of an album-length project. This format is also still effective for smaller artists to get their name out into the public consciousness, and I have many recommendations in this video from smaller artists who I feel are on par with the bigger names that you'll see on this list. And without further ado, let's start our list at number 15. Phil Anselmo has been on a roll this year. He had the Down reunion live stream, his new project in Minor showed that he could play a softer style of music, and his blackened grindcore band Scour have released a Black EP, which I feel is their best work to date. The production has been kicked up a notch, giving all the instruments more power, and the songwriting is much more dynamic than their previous work, with giving a sense of direction to the aggressive chaos the band brings. Opening track Doom remains the strong favorite, with the more hardcore-inspired Flames following close behind. A sort of black metal record for people who don't normally like black metal. Well worth checking out. At 14, we have Kentucky doom and sludge band Swamp Hock with their record Blood Wings. Going beyond the low and slow ethos that's common for most doom, the band mixes influences of prog, post-metal, and stonery blues, while utilizing a mixture of melodic vocals and occasional screams and growls. The swagger-filled groove of the track Vortex Child makes that song a favorite, as well as the instrumental bluesiness of Extended Dagger, which echoes the likes of a band like The Sword. And closer, TGOLR is a powerfully emotive ballad that slowly builds in intensity until its climax. Well worth checking out. At number 13, we have melodic death metal band Carcass and their Despicable EP. The band originally planned to come back with a full album called Torn Arteries, but due to that whole little pandemic thing, they opted to postpone the full album and release an EP instead in the meantime. The result is Despicable, a 4-track EP that shows the band's talent for inventive riffage. Opening track Under the Scalpel Blade alternates between dark lurking riffs and frantic blast beats, while tracks like The Long and Winding Beer Road and Slaughtered in Soho hark back to the hard rock flourishes of their Heartwork album. And the track The Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue is a dynamic epic that has beautiful twin guitar leads, needle-like marching riffs, and hard-charging blast beats and D-beats that all keep you enthralled. Despicable is definitely going to give Carcass fans a lot of excitement for the full album that's yet to come. At number 12, there's a melodic technical death metal band Inferi with their new EP of Sunless Realms. For those unfamiliar, Inferi essentially plays technical death metal with a big infusion of melodic twin guitar harmonies and atmosphere, which gives their songs a bit more emotion than the cold, dexterous precision of what's usually found in tech death. But there's still plenty of musical wizardry afoot, such as the dizzying, spellbound, unearthed terror that assaults your ears before giving you a harmonious yet swift guitar solo. There's also the stellar closer Aeon's Torn, which leans heavy on being a guitar shredfest while having orchestral elements providing an epic atmosphere. This EP gives a good taste of what the band Inferi is about, and is set apart from their usual virtuosic, normal technical death metal. At number 11 is the first rock-leaning band on the list, and that's the band Indigo Storm with their EP Prelude. Their sound bears a strong resemblance to Undertow-era Tool, but more streamlined for more accessible listening. Down-tuned, off-time riffs and constantly shifting dynamics are hallmarks of the band's sound, as well as big choruses. The tracks Metric and Chatterbox are early EP highlights, while the song Grow is probably the favorite with its driving rhythms and bass-heavy sections. Well worth a listen if alternative metal and especially Tool are your thing. Getting into the top 10 EPs of 2020, there's Eskimo Callboy with their new record MMXX. Or is that the Roman numerals for 2020? It probably is. I'm too lazy to look it up. Not like I've been paying close attention, but I thought electronicore was a dead genre for the most part. But German band Eskimo Callboy is keeping it alive with a strong dose of upbeat fun that avoids being cringe with their self-aware nature. Lead track Hypa Hypa has been a viral hit thanks to its music video, which is a fun 80s neon-drenched party set to the tune of the big sing-along rave chorus and pit-inducing breakdowns. The other tracks on this record keep a similar vibe, with highlights in the songs Hate Love and Monsieur Mustache. Tongue-in-cheek party lyrics and a focus on fun makes this a great record to throw on for the house party or for the pit. At number 9, we have the wildly eclectic Flummox with their record In Hindsight. If you would ask Flummox what genre they play, the answer would be yes. Most I can generalize their sound as progressive avant-garde metal, taking as much influence from the oddities of Primus and Mr. Bungle as they do the classic metal of bands like Black Sabbath and Judas Priest. The strong elements of jazz in their sound shown by the tracks Good Witch and Holy Ejaculate, and they more than show their metal chops in the proggy journey of instrumental track Excelsior and the creative breakdowns of Trans Girls Need Guns, which has become a signature song for the band. All these elements make In Hindsight a strong record for Flummox, well balancing the prog metal elements and virtuosity with an accessible sense of fun and energy. And number 8 is the latest record from Chemists titled Doomed Heavy Metal, which is as spot on of a title as ever to describe the band's mixture of slow heavy riffs and the twin guitar harmonies and vocal melodies of traditional heavy metal. They exemplify this with the opening track of the record, a cover of Dio's Rainbow in the Dark, which they play faithful to the original outside of beefing up the guitars to add in the doom element. Original track Empty Throne balances heavy, dirgy guitars that give you stank face, with beautiful twin guitar harmonies that create this light and dark back and forth. A Conversation with Death is a rework of the old folk song Oh Death, and well executed in Chemists' doom style. The 3 live tracks are also a fun treat, showing a diversity of the band's past work, as well as their adeptness on stage. Excitement is high for their next upcoming full album, and this EP makes for a nice holdover. I'm expecting their next release to put them in the same conversations as Pallbearer, with Chemists being fellow torchbearers of modern doom metal. If you're tired of every new metalcore band being a watered-down Architects ripoff and pine for the Swedish Melodeath influenced sound of old, you'll like the new EP from the Oblivion archetype titled A Ballad of Gold and Stone, my number 7 EP of the year. Rather than just rehash the At the Gates riffs with breakdowns formula of early 2000s metalcore, the band puts a bigger focus on melody and more subtle breakdown usage, putting their sound in a realm closer to Soilwork rather than a Killswitch Engage or an As LA Dying. This EP is rife in strong anthems, with the tracks Where the End Begins and Eulogy being among the favorites. An excellent first outing for the band, and looking forward to the full album later to come. Question: how do you get people to pay attention to your instrumental prog band? Well, you dress up as 3 of the world's most polarizing leaders, that's how. Nuclear Power Trio features North Korean Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un on drums, Russian President Vladimir Putin slapping the bass, and good old American President Donald Trump shredding the 6th string. And together they present a unified pact of peace through partying, and their new record, A Clear and Present Rager. But don't let the gimmick fool you. This is a tight group of musicians playing virtuosic 80s-esque prog rock with a strong fusion of funk and Latin elements. And the songs are every bit as fun as their image, with creatively titled tracks like Ukraine in the Membrane, Grab 'em by the Pyongyang, and Mutually Assured Seduction. Nuclear Power Trio is a fun trip to listen to, and one of the most entertaining instrumental acts I've heard in a while. Taking the number 5 spot are American grindcore legends Pig Destroyer, with their record The Octagonal Stairway. Clocking in around 25 minutes, this could be considered a full album by grindcore standards, but Pig Destroyer have expanded their songwriting style to often include standard song lengths that go over the 3-minute mark, which the first half of this album does with their trademark fury on tracks like The Cavalry, Cameraman, and the title track. The latter half of the EP features haunting electro-industrial based tracks that are all about atmosphere, including album closer Soundwalker, which clocks in at over 11 minutes. Octagonal Stairway gives you both the heavy and weird sides of Pig Destroyer, wrapped up in a neat little package. At number 4 is brutal death metal veterans Aborted with their EP La Grande Masquerade, a tight 3-song package of some of the band's finest work. Each song sounds like it could be the lead single for an album, and features all the speed, aggression, and technical precision extreme metal fans have come to expect from this band. Not much more to say on this one, but if you're into death metal, you're almost guaranteed to like this one. Getting into the top 3 EPs of 2020, there's Ishan with his EP Pharos. Black metal legend Ishan of Emperor fame has blessed us with not 1, but 2 EPs this year, releasing Telemark back in February and Pharos this past September. Either one of these EPs could have gone in this spot, but if I have to pick just one, I'm going to go with the Pharos EP. While the Telemark EP leaned more on Ishan's progressive style of black metal, the Pharos EP puts a stellar rock-style songwriting front and center. There's a beautiful balladry of the opening track Losing Altitude, the jazz and goth rock blend of the title track, and the catchy hooks of album favorite Spectre at the Feast. There's also stellar covers on this record of Portishead's Roads and Aha's Manhattan Skyline. Ishan continues a streak of high-quality music, with Pharos being another must-listen from the artist. At the number 2 spot is Soilwork with their long EP, A Wisp of the Atlantic, a 5-track record with the 16-plus minute title track as its highlight song. And the featured song is a quality one, a progressive metal epic that stays engaging with its rises and falls in tension, piano-centric sections, and Bjorn Speed Strid making a showcase of his vocal versatility over the course of the entire song. The rest of the record is excellent as well, keeping its theme of heavy metal romance songs well intact. Favorites include the track The Nothingness and the Devil, which features no melodic singing at all and is easily the heaviest of all the songs on this record, as well as Death Diviner, which stretches Strid's melodic vocal chops with some impressive high notes and a catchy, swagger-filled groove through most of the song. A Wisp of the Atlantic is a nice taste of Soilwork experimenting with what they can do musically, and it'll be exciting to see what they do on their next full record. And finally, at the number 1 spot, my number 1 EP of the year 2020 is from Zeal and Ardor with the EP titled Wake of a Nation. Originally planned for release as part of a full album to come out next year, band founder Manuel Gagnu opted to release these songs more quickly, as much as this was written as a response to American police violence and its following worldwide protests that occurred throughout this year. The record features the band's notable blend of avant-garde black metal and atmospheric soul spirituals, with as high, if not higher quality than what was found on their critically acclaimed 2018 album Strange Fruit, which is also my number 1 metal album of that year. There's the extremity and rage of songs like Tuskegee and album favorite Trust No One, as well as chilling piano-led ballads in songs like Vigil and At the Seams. Zeal and Ardor have always held a political lean to their songs, but unlike before, when it was based in fictional alternate history, this time they draw on the horrors of the real world and express that to the listener in grim detail, and it's impressively done. And there's my list. What did you think? What EPs did I leave out? What do you think EPs shouldn't have been on here? Leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the Heavy Haystack if you want to see more videos similar to this one. Peace, love, music, and I'll see y'all next time.